Hello and welcome. My name is Chris from ChristopherHall.com and welcome to this week's whiteboard presentation where we're going to be talking about 11 action steps to building a healthier and fitter lifestyle. I've broken it up into 3 different slides where we're going to look at some anatomy first, then we're going to look at axiology, and I'll explain what that is later, and then we're going to look at the action steps themselves. So the first 2 slides are building pieces to help you understand why the action steps are the action steps, if that makes sense. And why all this came about was obviously through the January period. You have the health kick, the New Year's resolutions that start in January, and they're stopped by sort of February or March. Now, I always would ask, why does that happen? What is that pattern in behaviour? Because it happens every year. In the 10 years that I've been doing this, every single year, January hits and it all goes a bit crazy, and then by February, March, it slows down and sort of stops, if that makes sense. Now, through that observation of behaviour, I then took to trying to understand that pattern of behaviour. And what I found was it's the priorities and how valuable those behaviours are to the individual. Now, that's where I'm going to start with everything, and then that's what I'm going to build on top of. So the main things to remember are priorities and how valuable those behaviours are, because that's what I'm going to be talking about first. First, we're going to look at what creates a valuable behaviour, and then we're going to look at how can we keep and create that valuable behaviour, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to look at today. But before I get into that, just mention my social media channels up in the top right hand corner. You've got at Christopher Hall on Twitter, you've got Christopher Hall Training on Facebook, and you've got Christopher Hall on Instagram. So please do come along there, like and follow. I'm sharing every day. I try and cover as much as I can with regards to health and fitness. It's all video content. So again, to try and make it that little bit more engaging for you, and hopefully help you understand it in a little bit more detail. Alternatively, you can visit the website. So if you want to work with me on a one-to-one basis, be it online or face-to-face in the gym, if you want it to be online, you can come to christopherhall.com/online-training. There we can start you on a 12-week program where we would get together online sort of once a month, review goals, set you up with your next month, be it a program, be it a set of new goals, and then you have email access to me in between all of that, but we review it every month, and that lasts for 12 weeks. Alternatively, you can come to christopherhall.com/personal-training, and you can work with me one-to-one in the gym, where we would go through an exercise session. We would look at goal setting, and we would look at it sort of building a home program as well with goals and actions and so on and so forth. So if you want to get involved in that, please do come to the website. If you want to go to Facebook, please go there, like and follow. It'd be great to have you there. So coming back to today's whiteboard, we are going to be talking about behaviour, and mainly the behaviour that comes about in January, but this does relate further than just that behaviour in January. If you have a behaviour that you start and stop quite quickly, this will help explain what that is, or what's partly going on with all of that. So when we're talking about the anatomy of behaviour, as I sort of call it, it's not necessarily that, but that's kind of how I'm describing it. What we get is there's a lot of things going on around us, and our brain filters what's going on around us, and it picks out certain information that's useful to us. Now, this is called filtering. So only a fraction of stimuli pressed on you by your environment ascends to the level of the conscious awareness. So how much do we see? Well, we see 40 million bits per second unconsciously. So that's a lot of information being taken in by your eyes, for example. Now, how much do we see consciously? Well, it's 8,000 bits per second. So it's only a very small percentage that gets that high. So that is kind of like the first bit of information. There's a lot of information out there, but there's only a very small information coming through to our conscious awareness. Now, again, this asks the question, what is that small amount of information? Now, this is where sensory gating comes in, and a part of your brain called the pulvinar nuclei or nucleus. Now, this is the part that's filtering the information, and it attends to important information of high priority and value to the individual. So this goes back to what I said before of it being of high priority. So why do we stick to something? Because it's of high priority. Now, what's of high priority gets filtered out of our environment. Our brain attends to it, and then we take action on that information, if that makes sense. All the low priority stuff gets filtered out the way. So if you don't have a high value on something, or you don't prioritize something, you'll miss it in your environment and you won't ever act on it. You won't ever behave that way. So what we then come on to is the next part, which is this thing called axiology, which is the study of human value and worth. It's a branch of philosophy, and it studies how you determine or assess the value of different things. When you value a set of priorities, you choose one thing over the other. So what we're looking at here is a little bit more of a practical basis, and let's just say the output and behaviour of information that's coming in. So what this does, as you start filtering the information, you create a ranking system. So you create a ranking system of the highest priority to the lowest priority. Now, the things that we have as a high priority, we have space for. We create space in our environment for it. We have time for it. We have energy for it. It's ordered, so we organise it and order it, and we're reliable and focused on completing any actions that require that behaviour, if that makes sense. Anything that ranks lowly, we procrastinate, we don't have space, time and energy for. It's disordered, we aren't very organised around it, we tend not to have much focus on it, and we don't really get to complete things. So what we have to understand is that 1, there's a lot of information out there being thrust at us. 2, that our brain is filtering what's most important. So if you're consciously aware of stuff and you don't necessarily think it's that important, then your brain unconsciously thinks that that's important. So it's filtering it and making it conscious to you. So what we might need to start doing is start creating this new filtering system. So we need to start creating and filtering new information. What that will then lead to is new behaviours. So if we look at the 11 action steps, what we first have to do is, where do you have all the positive actions? So what do you have time for? What do you create space for? What do you have energy for? Where are you most ordered? Where are you most organised? Because what that will do, so all those, let's just call them positive actions, that will help you understand what's of highest priority to you. And that will help you understand what actions you're taking. And then where do you have all the negatives? So where are you disordered? What don't you have time for? What don't you make energy for? And things like that. Because what that will do is that will help you understand what's of low priority. So if you procrastinate about your health and fitness, if you feel disorganised with it, if you don't create time for it, or you don't have time for it automatically, then you can start to see that it's lower on the values. And this is why in January it kicks in, because everyone gets pushed in on this emotional roller coaster through January of, I need to start health and fitness. And what then starts happening is, what I say is, real life starts getting in the way. Now what that is, that's your higher priorities being put in front of you, and then you're attending to them instead of attending to your health and fitness, if that makes sense. So what we need to start doing is, as we start filtering new information, i.e. more health and fitness information, we'll start acting in that way. If we start acting in that way, the behaviours will last much longer than just January and February. It will move into March, April, May, June and July. So if you can start identifying that from steps 1 and 2, you'll start to see where your priorities lie, and you'll start to see where health and fitness lies on that priority. You'll probably find that it's quite low and that we need to make it higher. So, and we'll attend to that later on. Now, the next 2, which is 3 and 4, is, what do healthy and fit people do? So what are they doing that helps them create that? What you'll tend to find is they'll be ordered, they'll be organised, they'll be focused on, they'll have goals set towards, they'll have lots of time for all these healthy and fit things that they do, be it preparing meals, be it buying certain foods, be it spending time cooking those foods, or whatever it might be. So it's being very specific about what those actions are. And then what we can start to do is, what do unhealthy and unfit people do? And then you can start to see the difference. So what we've got is, from 1 and 2, we've got where you are. Through 3, we've got where you think these healthy and fit people are. And you've got also where you think unhealthy and unfit people are. Now, you'll probably be somewhere in the middle. That's where you'll believe you'll be. Now, what we need to start doing is we need to start moving you up towards the healthier and the fit people, because you need to start becoming that person. Now, that doesn't mean becoming them 100%, but it does mean starting to take on and introduce some of their behaviours. What types of foods are they eating? How much food are they eating? How are they calculating that? So there's all these different types of things that you need to learn. And this is where a lot of people fall down, because they don't have the time, the energy and the inclination to start answering those questions and implementing those behaviours. So if you want to then start implementing those behaviours, here's some of the things that you can start doing. Is list benefits of health and fitness in general. So what are the benefits to you and the people around you of being fit and healthy? Number 6, list benefits of exercise and activity. So just start listing general benefits. What are general benefits to you? What are general benefits to other people around you of you being and doing exercise? Number 7, list benefits of healthy eating. Number 8, list benefits of newer and new, healthier and fitter actions. So instead of just going, it will make me happier, it will give me more energy, you need to start thinking of the specific actions. So what are the benefits to me of working out how much food I should be eating? What are the benefits to me of now eating that amount of food? And what are the benefits to me of having less food on my plate and things like that? So it's getting really sort of deep down and specific about all the different actions. Now, this isn't going to happen overnight. I'm not expecting you to run through these 11 in the next 10 minutes, complete them, and then you completely transform. Again, it's coming back to this video, coming back to these 11 action steps, and just slowly working through them. The first 2 or the first 4 will help you know where you are on the scale. And then the next 6 will help you understand, or 7 will help you understand how much work you need to do with it and how many more benefits and drawbacks you need to be adding to it. Because number 9 now is list drawbacks of your current health and fitness, because it's got you to where you are today to want to change. So you need to start thinking, well, how is this going to be a drawback to me now and in the future? List the drawbacks. Number 10, list the drawbacks of your current exercise and activity levels. So what are the drawbacks to you and the people around you to the exercise and activity that you're doing currently? And 11, list the drawbacks of your current eating habits. Because what that will do, as you start building up the drawbacks, what you'll start to find is that you'll start to want to do them less. And as you start building up benefits to the healthier habits, you'll start to want to do them more. Now, what will happen is challenges will come in sporadically as you work through in some ways to sort of test you how much you want to make these changes. And then it's just a case of working through them. So there's going to be times where you're motivated and you want to move forward. And there's going to be times where you're not so motivated and you want to go back to where you were. Now, again, the healthier and the fitter people, they will, again, prioritize, work through the challenges and move on to the next challenge and move on to the next step. The more the people who don't want it as much will meet that first challenge or second challenge and then just sort of, in a sense, give up and go back to the way they were. And that, again, is where this whole January thing comes in. As the challenges start coming in, or as I say, real life starts coming in, your high priorities start coming in, that's there to let you know that you've got stuff to work on. So you just work on it, work through it, and the ones that work through it get to where they want to get. The ones that don't go back to where they were. And that's the majority of the population through January and into February that find the challenges, that don't take on the challenges, don't stay consistent with the behaviours, and then go revert back to where they were and then repeat the whole thing next year. So it's about finding a way that you can go about and do all of these things. So hopefully this has given you a bit more of an understanding of behaviour in general and potentially your behaviour as well. So start applying the 11 action steps and just work through them slowly. Don't overdo it on yourself. Don't burn yourself out. Just methodically work through it every day. Just do a little bit here, a little bit there. So many thanks for watching. Many thanks for listening. Please do come to the website if you want help with this. This is the type of thing that I start people on with the online training. We work through this to help us understand where you are and where you want to get to. If you want to work with me one-to-one, it's personal training. Again, you can come to me in the gym and we'll start working on this type of stuff to get you in a position. And generally the people that are working with a coach, again, they will start to value it more. They'll start to have a higher priority on it, and they'll be able to keep themselves more accountable because they've got someone there with them. So if that is appealing to you, please do get in contact with me. Otherwise, please do just continue with the 11 steps. So many thanks for watching. Many thanks for listening. My name is Chris, and I will speak to you in next week's Whiteboard.